Bad-mouthing Mormons, a pregnancy proposition from Madonna, and multiple fractures in the worst place a guy can get them. Dennis Rodman is known worldwide for his off-the-court behavior just as much as his playing career, but there are still things about the polarizing figure you probably didn't know. Like anyone coming into a newfound fortune, Dennis Rodman had to navigate his way through wealth after he was selected by the Detroit Pistons in the 1986 NBA draft. By the 1988-89 season, he was pulling in a salary of $550,000, roughly $1.5 million in 2024 dollars. That figure only went up as his playing career continued. With his newfound wealth, Rodman started opening his wallet to those less fortunate. But of course, he did it in his own unique way, by handing out cash to the unhoused people he would see on the street. His generosity was best exemplified by the kindness he showed a pregnant woman, who asked him for spare change for food as he was walking back from a restaurant. As he told the New York Times in 1990, "I had $250 in my pocket and I gave it all to her. If I had $1,000, I would have given her that too." There are a lot of people out there that are more worthy of this money. People without houses, people living on the street. I was lucky to come upon this, what I have now. Rodman showed the world he enjoyed dressing up like a woman when he arrived at a 1996 event promoting his book Bad as I Wanna Be in a luxurious French-made wedding dress. Saying he was bisexual and claiming he was marrying himself, he traveled to the promotional stop at a New York Barnes & Noble in a horse-drawn carriage. It wasn't the first or last time Rodman would publicly wear women's clothing. A year earlier, he donned a sparkly women's top to the 1995 MTV Video Music Awards. But Rodman's cross-dressing goes back even further than that, all the way back to his childhood. In his autobiography, the star divulged that it began by playing dress-up as a youth, and he connected that lineage to the flamboyant outfits he would curate throughout his public career. He wrote, "As a kid, I would sometimes dress up as a girl. You play by dressing up and acting like a woman. I think a lot of kids have done that. When I cross-dress now, it's just another way I can show all the sides of Dennis Rodman." During the 1997 NBA Finals, when the Chicago Bulls faced the Utah Jazz, Rodman received the NBA's then biggest ever player penalty of $50,000 for twice disparaging Mormons and expletive-laden remarks. Utah has the highest Mormon population of any U.S. state, and Rodman evidently had qualms with how that was represented in the stands. Even though Rodman had already publicly apologized, the then commissioner of the league, David Stern, came down hard on him with the monetary punishment. Of course, Rodman was no stranger to controversy. Earlier that same season, he'd been suspended for 11 games and fined $25,000 for kicking a courtside camera person. But his remarks directed toward Mormons got him in even bigger trouble. For his part, Rodman indeed seemed remorseful for the outbursts, but he also indicated that he didn't quite realize the remarks had spiritual weight, saying in his apology, "If I knew it was a religious-type deal, I never would have said it." At the height of his fame in 1994, Rodman had a relationship with the pop superstar Madonna. It was one of the athlete's most highly publicized flings, but they were together for only a few months. Still, Rodman dedicated an entire chapter in his 1996 memoir to their pairing, and he later revealed that she had made him an interesting proposition.
She asked me that if I got her pregnant, she'll pay me $20 million.
Rodman went on to say that he was flown last minute from Las Vegas to New York in an attempt to conceive with her. When asked by the Breakfast Club if the Madonna relationship made him more famous, he argued, "It's the other way around. In 1993, I think her career was declining, and she said that the reason why she dated me was because I was a bad boy, but I was going up and she was leveling off." Rodman reportedly first met Kim Jong-un, the leader of the totalitarian dictatorship in North Korea, in 2013, and he's since been on several more trips to North Korea. Rodman is something of an ambassador, it would seem, but the results of his many visits to the country still aren't entirely clear. According to State Department officials, Rodman's reported fifth trip to North Korea in 2017 was purely a personal visit and not in the name of statesmanship.
We had so much fun. It was like you've been in Jersey Shores, seriously, but in North Korea.
But could Rodman's visits to North Korea have actually been done in cooperation with the CIA? Unfortunately, we'll never know for sure. Despite a Freedom of Information Act request submitted by the nonprofit investigative journalism organization Muckrock, the U.S. federal government's Civilian Foreign Intelligence Service would, quote, neither confirm nor deny the existence of the requested documents. In June 2018, Rodman attended the widely reported North Korea-United States-Singapore summit between Kim Jong-un and then U.S. President Donald Trump, seemingly using his friendship with Trump in an attempt to help smooth tensions between the two countries. Indeed, the former NBA star subsequently said that he thought an agreement between the U.S. and North Korea could actually come to fruition, telling Reuters, "So, I think that people should not give up on the U.S. trying to engage with North Korea in a good, safe manner. I think Kim Jong-un wants peace. I know him very well. I think he wants peace." In 2019, Rodman was a contestant on Season 2 of The Celebrity Apprentice, and he was the 5th contestant fired out of 16 total players. Knowing that, it wasn't a stretch to guess that Rodman was already friendly with Donald Trump when he endorsed him for president in 2015. But the real shocker was that Rodman didn't endorse Trump in the 2020 presidential election. In a nearly unintelligible video message Rodman posted on Instagram that October, a former NBA player wore a Vote Kanye shirt and appeared to endorse Kanye West, the hip-hop star who had announced his bid as a third-party candidate. And in 2024, Rodman seemed to be keeping who he was voting for a secret. It's abundantly clear that Dennis Rodman has become more comfortable with himself after so many years in the spotlight, but he was never one to hide his emotions in the name of saving face in the first place. And that includes the 6'7" sports star shedding a few tears when the time is right, even if everyone's watching. In 1990, when Rodman won the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year award, the basketball player got so overwhelmed that tears flowed down his face. But Rodman is individualistic to the core, and he has no qualms if people see him cry. As he told the New York Times just days after earning the award, "I don't care what people think of me. It doesn't make you less of a man or more of a man because you cry. A man's going to cry if he does it in public or he's not in public. You feel emotion." Rodman completed his NBA career by playing 12 games for the Dallas Mavericks in 2000, before landing on a couple of American Basketball Association teams and subsequently moonlighting on squads in Mexico, Finland, and elsewhere. Even lesser known, however, is that when Rodman was with the Mavericks, he had lost his driver's license, so he lived in the guest house of famous businessman and former Mavs principal owner Mark Cuban.
And it was funny, I loved D-Rod, right? He would come up to my house and he would just sit there watching cartoons all day.
Impressively, Cuban even said that Rodman taught him something about marketing, explaining, "I learned more from Dennis Rodman about PR and marketing than I learned in any MBA class or anything I've ever done. The man was a master of marketing. He'd be like, you just gotta keep refreshing and coming up with new stuff and letting people know you're going to be there." Dennis Rodman isn't just a basketball star. He has also participated in the exaggerated world of professional wrestling. For World Championship Wrestling, he became a member of the NWO in 1997, but Rodman had first briefly reared his head in a triangle elimination match with Hulk Hogan at WCW's Uncensored event earlier that year. In 1998's Bash at the Beach, Utah Jazz power forward Karl Malone partnered with Diamond Dallas Page in a tag team match against Rodman and Hogan, truly merging the NBA and the WCW in a way never before done. The match came only weeks after Rodman and Malone had faced each other in the 1998 NBA Finals, when Rodman's Bulls defeated the Jazz for their 6th total NBA title. After his time in the NBA, Rodman continued to dabble in pro wrestling, appearing on Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling in 2008. As recently as 2023, he showed up in a September episode of AEW Collision Show and their all-out pay-per-view alongside the wrestling stable The Acclaimed. In a 2016 installment of Vice TV's Party Legends, Rodman shockingly admitted that he had broken his penis 3 different times during sex over the years. The basketball star recalled the final instance as being officially diagnosed as a penile contusion, and also claimed that as many as 8 different medical professionals in the emergency room had come over to look at it with bewildered curiosity. But Rodman also had to deal with some unnecessary medical extortion after the last emergency room trip. He said his girlfriend got a call from someone claiming to be with a group of medical personnel, saying that they would sell the photos taken of Rodman's contusion to a tabloid if he didn't pay up. Rodman said that his girlfriend told the attempted blackmailer to, quote, "go ahead and do it," and then hung up the phone. But it's all water under the bridge now, and Rodman can seemingly still engage in sex. According to him, "I'm good to go, man, it's all good. Take a pill. But that's 3 times I did that. Broke my